About a year ago, I wrote an article about how in every city there must be a certain number of houses that will be sold in that specific city. This is based on the fact that most people sell their houses not because they want to earn a lot of money, but because there is some sort of a change in their life that dictates a sale. Obviously, when people sell houses, they do want to earn as much money as they can, but most people don't sell because of money, but because there's a change in their life. For example, their family grows and they need more bedrooms. If the family shrinks, there might be a change in health condition. There might be a work relocation or change in work. All of those things dictate that people's circumstances will change, and therefore they need to sell their house and move to a house that suits them more. The benefit of this, or the consequences of that, is that it doesn't matter what the real estate market does, there will always be houses for sale and there will always be income for real estate salespeople. What this also means is that real estate salespeople income or business is not so much affected by what the market is doing, but by the number of salespeople in the market relative to the number of houses that are in the market. Let me explain. Let's say, for example, that in Wellington every year 10,000 houses will sell. In a flat market, in a level market, not bull market or a dropped market, every year 10,000 houses will sell. And let's say that in a market like this, where it's consistent and flat, 2,000 salespeople will be sufficient to take care of that stock. And that means that as long as the number of salespeople doesn't change, there will be enough income for all the salespeople in the market. Obviously, the numbers will always change just a little bit. There'll be some salespeople who will decide to retire or change their lifestyle, and new ones who will come in. But the level of houses selling and the level of agents will be more or less the same. It will be balanced. There will be an equilibrium between the two. But if the market changes and suddenly the environment changes and the market becomes a negative market where less people will sell, so let's say the minimum number of houses selling drops to 8,000 houses a year, and the number of agents that stay on the market is still 2,000, that means that there are now too many salespeople, but not enough stock. And this means that a lot of salespeople will not earn a living. And this will happen until enough salespeople leave the industry and the numbers will drop to take care of the drop in the amount of houses for sale. So let's say 8,000 houses, then we need 1,500 salespeople. And again, I'm just making those figures up just for the argument's sake. So if the number of houses for sale drops, the number of salespeople drops, then there is equilibrium or balance again. And as long as the market stays the same, this is sufficient for everybody to have an income. If the market then starts to move up and become a bullish market with a lot of activity and more houses sell, and suddenly there's 10 or 12,000 houses selling, then there's a lot of more activity. The amount of salespeople that are in the market are not sufficient to take care of all of that activity, all those houses that come to the market, and more salespeople will start coming into the market until the market gets to an equilibrium. And it will stay the same balance where there's a certain amount of houses for sale, certain amount of salespeople, and as long as that doesn't change, everybody will be happy. But if the market then drops from the high level of houses being sold, suddenly we have too many salespeople with less houses, and salespeople will begin to struggle. Why am I sharing this point with you? I'm sharing this point with you because we are now in a very, very interesting market. We are actually in an extremely busy market in New Zealand, where a lot of houses are selling for extremely good prices and everything that comes into the market is selling, but there is shortage of properties. So that means that there are way too many salespeople for the amount of properties that are on the market. And if you are one of those salespeople who's possibly new to the industry or struggling a little bit, as long as you continue to do the work and continue to push through and wait for the extra salespeople to leave the market, it means that you will get to a point where there's enough salespeople, enough stock, and everybody will have the ability to earn a good income out of it. So again, the point of this is that it's not so much whether the market is good in terms of price or not that affects the amount of salespeople or the income of salespeople, but the amount of salespeople in the market comparable to the amount of properties that are being sold. An interesting point with this, though, is that the really successful salespeople, whether the market is flat, up or down, their income doesn't really change much because they are already extremely well known, they have a good reputation, and the business continues to come toward them whether the market is up, down or flat.